Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Yuki, and he is in the Alabama, the US Tier 8 premium battleship. He is on the map Two Brothers in a standard battle, and it's a Tier 8 battle, so that's pretty nice. There are 2 destroyers per team, and there is no carrier. Now it's a standard battle, so unfortunately no points to capture, and that means games are often a little less aggressive. Now in a domination game you would try to get the capture points first and you'd have to fight over them, but in a standard battle all you have to do is defend your cap. So this means you can take it a bit slower here in the beginning. Now unless you know how many ships are coming this way, you don't want to be too aggressive. You want to just get here in a position and then wait and see if you want to push on your side or if you want to retreat, or if you just want to hold your position and engage at longer ranges. So right now we see that on the right side of the map only an Akatsuki is spotted. The Akatsuki is pretty aggressive, but well, I mean, the friendly team doesn't have a destroyer in a scouting position right now on the right side, but still, if there were battleships coming towards the right side, they should be spotted right now. This means a lot of the enemy is here on the left side. Now because of the smoke we also cannot be sure how many ships are around here, but since the enemy team has nobody on the other side it would be wrong to push here, so Yogi is already turning around. He is being careful here. There is no need to push. He can just be here in a position where he can retreat back to the safety of those big islands if necessary. And looks like the smoke clears up. There is a destroyer spotted. 9.5 kilometers, you have a reasonable chance of hitting a destroyer at that distance, so I would definitely say go for the destroyer here. I mean, a broadside cruiser is a pretty juicy target, but even an overpan on a destroyer does massive amount of damage compared to his hit point pool, and at those ranges it would have been possible to hit the destroyer. I mean, obviously if the destroyer dodges, nothing is guaranteed, but I think it's worth a try. Anyway, the friendly destroyer got damaged quite a bit, but ultimately he escaped. Now we can already see that there is a massive fleet here. We can also see that the enemy is sending ships through the center. You know, going through the center on this map is not a very good idea usually. Now later in the battle it's somewhat more feasible, but if you look at the deployment of the friendly team, they are all here in a position. Any ship coming out here is in an immediate crossfire and will most likely get deleted pretty damn fast. And here we go, first blood. So although the game has been running for a while, it looks like this was first blood, and yeah, the enemy once more demonstrated why you don't charge through the middle. You can do so later on, you can do so when the enemy ships are out of position, but you can't just charge into 12 ships and think that this somehow is gonna work out. Now it looks like we might have some more broadside cruisers coming here. I probably would have gone for the Miyoko here. Graf Spee, on the other hand, of course, also a juicy target, especially he's already damaged, so more likely to secure a kill on that one. And sinking enemy ships is obviously very important because it takes their guns out of the game, and there you go. There is the Citadel and one less enemy. Now the friendly team still has a massive presence here at the friendly cap. Some ships on the right side returned, and was a decent choice considering that the enemy was pushing through the center. And some ships on the right side are still pushing aggressively here. The enemy team isn't committing overly, so now the friendly team has to decide what to do, and well, Yerky has to decide what he wants to do. He could go back here and try to meet this force, but he'd need support from a few of the ships behind him. There is still a threat in the channel. I mean, there is the Bismarck and the King George. We aren't exactly sure what they are going to do, so they could be pushing through here as well. And if the friendly ships on the right side manage to actually get to the enemy cap, then those friendly ships you have to find a way to help. Because if those enemies just return, yeah, the friendlies will be in a pretty bad spot. And there you go, another few citadels and a lot of damage on the Miyoko. The Prince Eugen secures the kill. And hey, here is the Gede. Now, Gede was not very careful, he got spotted. At this point, popping the plane might help. Might be worth a try. Now, personally, I don't really like the angle from the spotter plane, but the spotter plane would have helped, or could have potentially have helped spot the destroyer. And again, somebody seems to have sunk him. I kinda missed that. So, anyway. Now, I'm not sure what the enemy ships are doing here, but they are hesitant to push through. They are positioned in a way that I thought they would be, but you know. Now they are just sitting in the spawn, and well, now the friendly team could try a push through here. Now in this case, a push through the center is not so problematic because there are already ships entering the enemy cap circle. So if the friendlies now push through here, they aren't ending up in a crossfire because they already control one flank. And this is the fastest way to reinforce those ships. Going through the center also means no enemies can come this way, and well capped, there is still a sizable force here defending. And if those ships push in and those friendlies here go through the center, this is looking rather okay. So Yaki is going through here in order to be in a position to help support. The King George will probably make acquaintance with torpedoes pretty soon, and because we already have a force here, we know that there is no destroyer immediately waiting at the entrance of this cave. Well, it's not really a cave, channel. Like that. Now the King George is coming in here, and that King George might be ramming, but the Prince Eugen here is he trying to sacrifice himself here? Oh no, he has torpedoes ready, so he's taking the King George. But also keep in mind that even if he had gone sunk here, the Prince Eugen, even if this hadn't worked out, he would have blocked the enemy ship from ramming. And since the Prince Eugen was almost dead and the Alabama on so high health, that was actually a pretty nice move from the Eugen here. I suspect he mostly just wanted to torp, and he certain that this would work out, but nevertheless, well done from the Eugen. Oh, it's looking pretty amazing for the friendly team. There is a Fiji here in a rather aggressive position that will be overrun pretty soon, and most of the enemies are returning here. So there might actually be a pretty hard fight in the enemy cap until friendly reinforcements arrive. And I'm not having high hopes for the friendly cruiser here. If the Hipper shoots one salvo at him, he's probably going down. But Emahan is coming to the rescue, well, potentially to the rescue if there aren't any shells on the way already, and he is providing a smoke screen for the Prince Eugen, which is pretty nice. Actually, I'm surprised at the team play the friendly team shows, and it's welcome. It's a positive surprise here. Yeah, I think that Hipper is done for. So that leaves 4 enemy ships, and surprise, pretty healthy battleships still around. Now the Eugen reversed out of the way, and he's probably able to shoot the Bismarck right now. There are some torpedoes coming this way, but nothing too problematic. And Yuki now has a free path to charge those enemies. Now, charging 3 battleships might not be the healthiest thing to do, but at this point it's really all about just farming more damage before the game is over. And looking at how much health on those battleships is remaining, there is a lot of damage here to farm. So I guess this is going to be full speed ahead into the enemy line. Friendly team also cleared up on the left flank and they are moving in from there as well. And look at that, somebody spotted the destroyer once more. I would focus the destroyer. I mean, there is obviously more damage to farm by shooting a broadside Mutsu, but you get quite a lot of experience for shooting destroyers, and at those ranges hitting that destroyer shouldn't have been much of a problem. And the destroyer is a big threat. Now at this point this game is won regardless, but still. In such a situation I would always recommend you shoot the destroyer. It's really almost impossible to miss if he's broadside on at 5 kilometers, and one of your salvos could utterly devastate him, and that gives you a ton of experience. Well, Alabama is rather maneuverable. He still takes 1 torpedo here. And as I said, at this point it doesn't really matter. If the torpedoes of the Akatsuki are on cooldown, he could also just charge the smoke, but he is showing too much broadside towards those battleships. Those torpedoes forced him to expose his broadside. And oh wow, the Mutsu survived with 77 hit points. Oh, it looks like the enemy destroyer is just running away here. He has abandoned this smoke. And, well, Yuki is on collision course with the Colorado. That's not obviously a pretty nice trade. The Colorado has a lot more hit points left. And so that means he can use the gun to finish off a Mutsu as well. Because why not? The Akatsuki is here in pretty close quarters, but that doesn't matter anymore. And there's the ram. That's a Kraken, that's a double strike, and that's over 200,000 points of damage. Very nicely done by Yuki. And it comes as no surprise that this battle is a win. So let's just jump right to the results. Now let's take a look at the results. Yuki managed to get 2,425 base experience. Almost 1,000 more than the second in the team, so nicely done. Also shout out to the Prince Eugen, who was pretty nice in the channel, who helped prevent the enemy from ramming and who was inserting himself between those 2 battleships as a shield. Yuki earned himself Devastating Strike, Confederate, Double Strike, Kraken, First Blood and High Caliber. He scored 211,000 points of damage. Very nicely done by him. Fun game. I hope you enjoyed watching it. And I see you guys next time.